You become the person you dress like. Here's why. In high school, I always used to just wear sweatpants and sweatshirts everywhere. I kinda would feel like shit all the time. I got my first girlfriend and she helped me pick out a couple good outfits. I started wearing those outfits sometimes at school and I straight noticed that the days that I wore those outfits, I felt better. I feel like just a better person, someone that I wanted to be more. I felt more productive, I felt more energetic, I felt more enthusiastic towards social opportunities, and it was a noticeable effect. Part of it was just because I felt more attractive. You look more fly, or think you look like if you're a girl, you feel like you look like a bad bitch. You're gonna be a little more energetic socially and maybe in a better mood, but even when I was alone, I felt better. And there was a short time period where I would dress a little bit more edgy. I think I was trying to go for I don't even know what I was going for, but I was wearing a lot of chains and darker outfits. I noticed that dressing edgier led me to act more edgy. I felt more edgy, and it wasn't necessarily an entirely bad thing, but in terms of productivity and caring about school and work and anything, it was not it. There was this piece of fashion advice I heard last year that was, you should always dress as nice as you can while still being appropriate for the event or situation. This means that you should basically never wear sweatpants because when are sweatpants and a sweatshirt gonna be the most nice thing you could wear to an event? And this also doesn't mean that you have to wear a suit to everything, or a super nice tuxedo everywhere you go. But if that is something that would still be appropriate to wear to a situation, wear it. If you're going out on a date, wear that shit. If you're going to school, wear something, not a suit, but nice, I've been wearing these shirts this summer and then I've been wearing nicer pants, like khakis, and I just feel better than when I would wear sweatpants. And I even wear my outfits to the gym. I don't change because I just feel like this kind of business mogul who's also in the gym. I'm not just giving my own subjective feeling on this. There is psychological evidence, there's psychological effects with this. In societies, people have roles. People have always had roles in societies, right? Back then it was the hunters and the berry pickers and the leather workers. And in modern day, there's the plumbers and the construction workers and the doctors, right? But the psychological effect here is that depending on what outfit you're wearing, whether or not you are in that role, you will feel more like you expect people in that role to feel like. People, on average, think more lowly of a plumber or a construction worker than a doctor because it takes more direct effort to become that role. The thing is, the average person, because they think that, if they're gonna put on a plumber outfit, I have a feeling they'd feel a little bit more not good about themselves. And if they put on a doctor outfit, I have a feeling they're gonna feel a little bit more smart. There are genuine studies about this. For one study, they had people wear lab coats and people wear their normal clothes while performing advanced cognitive tasks. The people who wore the lab coats performed better on average by a decent amount on attention tasks than the people who didn't wear the lab coats. The people wearing lab coats were basically smarter. The people didn't change, the situation didn't change, it was just what they were wearing that changed their behavior. Think of the person that you wish you were. Maybe it's the perfect version of you. Maybe it's the person who's extremely social. And I want you to imagine what that person dresses like. What would the person that you're trying to be like, what would they dress like? What celebrity embodies this perfect version of yourself? What do they dress like? And I want you to dress like that. Even just putting on a watch has made me feel better about myself. And while there's always nicer things you could wear, I think just go 80% of the way. I get all my clothes off Old Navy. That shit's cheap. You can buy some nicer clothes. I have this one friend, and he's kind of the reason why I started dressing nicer in the first place. Last year, I'd sometimes catch him wearing these really exuberant outfits. I don't know what way to describe them, but very layered and, the clothes you wouldn't normally see, but that were definitely very nice in their own way, right? He would put those on when he wanted to write. He was a big writer. And he said that when he wore these nice outfits that made him feel like this old-timey writer, he would be more like an old-timey writer. And he'd be more likely to make these genuine good pieces of writing. Also, you gain more respect from other people when you dress nicer. You gain more attraction, obviously, from the other sex when you dress nicer. And you're gonna have the effect on other people of they're gonna think you're that guy, which is gonna be a reinforcing belief. And this is all one big reinforcement loop, right? Because even for yourself, you're gonna dress nicer, you're gonna act like the person that you wanna be like, which is then gonna give you this belief for your personal identity that you are this person. Another benefit of dressing nicely every single day is to limit decision fatigue. And decision fatigue is when you just make so many choices that you don't really have the cognitive capacity to make good decisions. And so what you want to do is limit the little stupid ones. Like, that's why meal prepping is good, right? And maybe you've heard of how Steve Jobs always used to wear his turtleneck because then he wouldn't have to pick out what he was gonna wear. And while I do feel like that's a little extreme and has its own downsides unless you're trying to be this like tech mogul, the extent that I do this for is just I only have nice shirts in my closet, so I just pick out the next nice shirt, and then I know what color shorts or pants go well with that shirt, and so I pick out the shirt, I put it on, I put the pants on that go with it. Every day I wear the same watch, I don't take my bracelets off, I don't take my necklace off, and I wear the same shoes every day. So yeah, I used to dress like kind of a bum, but now I dress nicer, and now I feel more driven. And there's many reasons for that, but I've definitely noticed the effect on the day-to-day depending on what I wear. So now I dress nice every single day. You should always dress as nice as is appropriate for an event, but that doesn't always mean a suit. And that usually means no sweatpants. There's genuine scientific backing to this idea, so don't just think it's my opinion. I hope that this influences you to dress nicer, and remember, it's not costly. This shirt's like 12 bucks.